Hi, this is Rosalyn Kahn from Chow Entertainment of Living Your Best Life. We're here at TheBestYou, and we have with us the Mr. Shiraz, who is a great person who helps people
Rewrite reality.
Now, how is it we rewrite reality? We just don't like our life and we just throw it out in a basket and we start all over again?
That's actually an option. You can absolutely do that. And it's actually freeing to say, you know what, this whole day I'm just going to start fresh and see what happens. But for the most part, with rewriting reality, there's usually issues in your life where you're having the same things happen over and over again. You're trying to fix them. You can't seem to get through them. And those are the parts you can actually rewrite, although you don't realize you can. You think that's just the way life is.
So what's the simplest trick to help us get over those things that just keep happening over and over?
The thing to understand is that any physical problem in your life, in your world, whether it's an illness, whether it's not making money, whether it's never meeting the right person, it's always a solution to an emotional problem that you don't realize you have. So for instance, you may say, I want to make a lot of money. But if you do make a lot of money, you might think, well, people are going to come up and say, can I have some? Can you invest in my project? You've got to take care of the whole family now that you make so much money. And you're like, I don't want to have those conversations. I want the money, but I don't want to have those conversations. But your subconscious is like, the emotional impact of those conversations is more important to avoid than getting the money. So I'll make sure you don't make the money and we don't have to worry about the emotions. Problem solved. I got your back. And this is what happens. You think it's a physical problem you need to solve, but it's an emotional problem you're not even looking at.
Wow.
Yep.
That sounds... And how long have you been doing this for?
9 years.
What inspired you to get involved in this line of work?
For me, I used to have rheumatoid arthritis. I suffered with it for 18 years until a mentor of mine pointed out that you think you're supposed to be responsible for everyone in your life. And I was like, no, I don't. He goes, I know you don't think that consciously, but from interacting with you, I've realized that's what you think. And you think if you were fit, if you didn't have the arthritis, then you'd be overwhelmed by all these people you need to be responsible for. You'd feel guilty if you couldn't help them all. So the arthritis is the solution. So when I decided, you know what, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone else. I don't care if they need my help, if they come begging. It's only when I'm in a place to help, I'll help. The arthritis was gone the next day.
Wow,
Yeah.
That is beautiful. So tell our audience, how do they get a hold of you? How do they make that happen?
You can get me on energeticmagic.com and just get on there, book an appointment, and I can show you exactly how this works. And you can possibly get a shift in 15 minutes or less.
Oh my gosh, that is, wow. Is there which social media do you follow most regularly that people can follow you on?
You can follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm on. Just look for Energetic Magic on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you can also just look for Shiraz Babu and follow me there.
Fantastic. Are you here at the event here today? Are you doing a special promotion for the people here today?
Today I'm actually on a panel, but tomorrow and Sunday I am speaking on stage, teaching what I know to whoever's listening.
That sounds awesome. My name is Rosalyn Kahn. I'm with Chow Entertainment, Living Your Best Life. It's every Tuesday here in LA. It's at 11 o'clock on KXLA. You can find that on the Chow Network. We're also on Roku TV and Amazon Fire. We also have coverage in Las Vegas. And my job is to interview the most amazing, fascinating people. You and your suit of green follow that. So thank you so much.
You.
Gratitude beyond words.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Awesome. Talk to you later. Take care.
Bye-bye.
This is Miss Ava. Ava
Manuel.
Manuel, and she's with the Tribune. I hear she's a very important person over there. So, Ava, tell us about yourself.
I'm the senior editor of the Los Angeles Tribune paper.
How did you get to be the senior editor of this newspaper?
That's my question too. Like, how did I get here? I'm a physical therapist by profession, but one of the things that I love is, educating people. And so I went after learning how to establish and create shows, and I ended up becoming the senior editor of the Los Angeles Tribune.
Well, I'll tell you a secret.
Yes.
When you take yourself and you follow your passion and you do what's really important to you, it's amazing the doors that go ahead and open. Amazing the doors that go ahead and open.
Truly.
So as part of the editor, what's one of the most memorable stories you've ever had the possibility of putting together?
Well, so there's this woman who's importing coffee from Mexico. And what she's doing is she wants to keep the indigenous artwork of coffee making in Mexico. And when I heard her story, you're not just selling coffee, It's more than that. You're really helping the indigenous artwork, coffee artwork, and art form in Mexico. And so she would have never written an article herself. I just interviewed her over the phone, wrote the article for her, and it's so beautiful because I feel like I've contributed to really bringing the story together because she didn't see it as a story, she saw it as a product. No, I said it's actually a beautiful story of what you stand for. It's not just coffee. So that's one of my most proud and memorable articles that we have now produced in the most recent Los Angeles Tribune Top Thought Leader edition. It's a special edition that's only about positivity, only about inspiration, education, and uplifting humanity.
Now, how did you find this lady?
Have you been to Alignable?
Yes.
So it's kind of ideally a local, but there are also some that are not within the around town. But I was a member of Alignable, and she reached out to me when she found out I was in the Los Angeles Tribune.
Wow.
And I always make a point when people reach out, like I want to hear what their stories are. And so I heard her story, and I'm like, I want to write about your article. Yeah.
That's amazing because I always interview the most amazing people. And he said that I had to talk to you because becoming a physical therapist is a lot of hard work and schooling, and how you would bypass that. But, there's a lot of people in different careers that make career shifts, to different things in their life. I used to be in outside sales, and I trained in corporations that I loved, and I teach in the colleges, but I really love interviewing people and telling their stories. It's so fascinating of what you learn. And I know this is just the beginning of many great things. Now, how can people follow you?
They can find me through the Los Angeles Tribune website, also the LA Tribune Special Edition. We are actually giving that away for free right now, digital version. Go to LA Tribune Special Edition.com and get your digital copy of the latest Top Thought Leader edition of the
Wow,
newspaper.
I can't wait to get mine. Found this very attractive man that I love his hat. At the end of it, he's going to allow me to put it on. David is a man who's into so many interesting things. Just look at these beautiful necklaces he has. They are just gorgeous. David, tell me, what do you do in the world?
So I'm a photographer and I have my own magazine. It's called David's Guide. It's about celebrating the new renaissance with higher consciousness. I also have the biohack.org, which is all about biohacking, health and wellness.
Tell me what biohacking is. It kind of has a mean sound to it. Bio and then hacking.
Well, biohacking is all about holistic healing and technology. So there's red light therapy, there's dry fasting, there's meditation, mindset, self-development, PEMF. I mean, there's so many different types of things.
What's the second one you said? Bio something?
Dry fasting?
Yeah, what is that?
Dry fasting is no food and no water.
Okay.
The longest I've done was 7 days.
Wow, you should try Vipassana meditation. Have
Oh,
you ever heard of that?
I have, but I've never tried it.
Vipassana meditation is wonderful. My life coach told me about it. You go 10 days and you basically have water and you get a light thing in the morning, like some fruit, something like that. But you're basically you get a food at the end of the day, or there's one meal that you get.
Hmm.
But it's literally, there's no talking. And you go for a week without talking.
Okay, yes.
And it is the most amazing
Dr. Kathryn
experience.
Tapper, passionately known as Dr. KTap.
I met this lovely lady, and what was enchanting me about this lady is I felt this connection to her because she helps people uncover those hidden obstacles, and she had these beautiful stones that she had people between inspire, hope, creativity. Tell us what brought you here.
Well, I am a holistic health and wellness coach. Prior to that, I was a family medicine physician. And even prior to that, I am a chronic illness patient. And so I've been on this journey of really making myself well and whole, and going from patient, physician to coach, I am now helping other people to dominate their diagnosis and live their destiny, empowering them to know that the power is within them to actually thrive within their body so that they can thrive in life.
Now, I want to take you back a step because you told me that you'd been suffering with this disease since you were 19 years old.
Yep, second year of college, and always been healthy before. And so it came as a shock. I was ill for maybe about 2 to 3 weeks. Thought it was like a GI bug. And of course, it wasn't getting any better. And so they told me that I had end stage renal disease, which means that I had two options: dialysis or get a kidney transplant. And so at that time, dialysis was the option for me. So I've been on dialysis since that time, got a kidney transplant for a few years. And then it was last year that I went back on dialysis. 2 years ago now, I went back on dialysis. And so when that shift was taking place within my health, I knew that there needed to be a shift taking place within my career because I really had to put my well-being first. I was already being burnt out at that point, and I knew I was going to be burnt out even more with going back on dialysis. So that's how that journey actually started of coaching, was when I had that light bulb moment where I realized I'm already coaching my patients in the clinic, whether it is preventing disease, promoting health, or reversing disease. And so when I realized that I could do this on my own, having the flexibility to not only take care of myself, but also to serve other people the way I want to, it just made sense.
You know, that's what I find is interesting about everybody is they have that moment in their life where they're hit on the side of the head by something that comes up and says, I can't take this anymore. I can't take this any longer. And you have a book that you've written?
I have a book coming out this year. Yes, it's called You Are Greater Than Your Diagnosis.
Fantastic. Tell me about the stones you have out there. What's the meaning behind the stones?
The meaning behind the stones is to allow people to know that they can inspire themselves anytime. Affirmations are so important, and it's about shifting your mindset from those limiting beliefs to knowing that you can do and be anything that you want to be. So what I'm talking about here at the Expo is that you are greater than ... You fill in the blanks.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Now, how can people follow you?
People can follow me on IG at Dr. KTap. That's DRKTap. Same thing on Facebook, Dr. KTap. And you can check out my website too at drktap.com. I try to make it simple.
Simplicity is really the key. Now, you have a gift that you're giving away to people here?
Yes, I have a free gift giving away to people. It's called 7 Ways to Blossom Beautifully in Health and in Life. And it uses the example of a seed, planting an intentional seed of health. And what are the things that you need in order to bloom and blossom?
That sounds wonderful.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you sought me out. We made it happen.
Yeah, we made it happen. I love these divinely aligned moments.
That's what life is about, making connections and connecting with people. I wish you the best of success. I know this is not going to be the end. Thank you so much.
Love and light.
And I met this guy, Bel Martinez, and they started calling off all these song groups and so on and so forth. And I said, wow, tell us about yourself.
I started performing when I was 3 years old, singing. It's the family tradition. I'm a 4th generation entertainer on both sides of my family. And my father was a minor celebrity in his own right at times. He had a close relationship with Sammy Davis Jr. He opened for him. He was actually historically the first non-Black person to sing at the famous Apollo Theater. And nobody ever made a fuss about it because he was in an all-Black band that he'd been touring with for years. But there are a lot of great things he did. He met Frank Sinatra. Frank heard him sing, said, I love your voice. He did a motion picture, No Man's Land, was signed with RCA Victor, had a famous, career, but never quite came into his own. Now for me, I started performing at 3, and at 23, I did my first major tour for Disney and Buena Vista before they were in television. At
Wow.
this point, they were not in television at all. In the early 90s, they'd had the Mickey Mouse Club, and that was it.
Right.
And they said, hey, we're going to try this TV thing, and we're going to do a big national tour and introduce 6 new cartoons, and Scrooge McDuck, and the Gummy Bears, and the Rescue Rangers. And I was the lead character touring the United States with a bunch of, performers and heads, Mickey and Minnie and Baloo. And I had to sing and dance and MC and rap and lead that. And that was a big deal. The president of Buena Vista thanked me. And from there, I did cruise ships and theater and a little film and TV. And then had a really big break when I ended up being hired to be one of Frankie Valli himself, his 4 seasons, before there was a Jersey Boys. So I toured with him for 4 years in North America. The last year, Jersey Boys went to Broadway, got, I believe, 3 Tonys, and became the biggest hit of the decade. And after I got off the road, I wrote a tribute show, which has been successfully touring for 15 years.
You're so humble. I want to know, where does that humility come from?
That's a very interesting question. I think if you stay in the business, you have to gravitate towards one or the other. You either feed your ego or you learn humility, very often the hard way, with our failures and having to take a good look at ourselves and what's sustainable. We're here at this, health and wellness kind of theme that we have here. And to be able to work professionally, still keep integrity for art, and to be able to enjoy people's company, you have to have humility. You have to know how to just relate to everybody and anybody. We're all the same in a sense. And for me, as much as I've done in my career, which I'm just sharing some of what I've done, I know I'm capable of more. And so I took my father's essentially dying wish to have his story told. And I've taken up the mantle, and he didn't write it. So it's oral tradition and records. I've been doing research about all the amazing things that he went through and how the similarities in his life and my life, and in my grandfather having had his roots, and my kids taking up the mantle. And so the book that I'm writing and the script that will come from it is the story of 3 vowels. And the story is amazing, but I have a collection of my father's music. Some of it, a good amount of it, unreleased. So I'm working on remastering and curating, and I get to write about these beautiful things that happen in my family, share the lessons, and I assure you the stories, I have to tell at least one, since I'm hinting. The stories are just amazing and funny and interesting and intense.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again on Chow Entertainment.
Can I tell them where to find me?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Where is it?
Val, V-A-L, Martinez, M-A-R-T-I-N-E-Z, music. Val Martinez Music. That will get you to every place you need to go, to my websites. If you're interested in custom designed entertainment, my company does all size events, and you can have me there singing and emceeing and helping run your next event, whatever size, from 100 to 1,000.
And welcome to the Oakland Aviation Museum. This is a special museum for aircraft, historic GA, general aviation, and World War II airplanes here at the Oakland Airport. As you can see, it's now open 7 days a week for the summer. And I wanted to show you around. This is an indoor and outdoor museum. This is the outdoor area. Over there we have a flying boat. There's not too many of those left. Here you can see the Douglas KA-3B Sky Warrior. Really cool. Lots of red and blue. You can read up on it. Start or had their first flight in this plane. Now we use more Cessnas. Come over here. And this is just a great place to come and visit, to bring your family. As you can see, the ground is like a little runway. Like the Kitty Hawk corporate. And of course, that's the Wright Brothers. That's the Wright Brothers. And this is the gift shop where you can get all of your favorite aviation goods. Thank you, and we hope to see you soon.
Mr. David.
How you doing, Rosalyn?
I'm doing great. I mean, I remember following you since you were helping the homeless people.
Yep, still doing it. You know, we got to just pay it forward and by paying it forward. That's what really the price. Muhammad Ali says the price we pay for living on this planet is by the service we do others.
That's great. So what's the bat for?
Well, that's part of my podcast, and it says peace, love, and bring a bad. And bringing a bad is really talking about authenticity. It's being authentic today, or bringing authenticity to you, and that's really what we need to do. Is being our most authentic self, helping ourselves, and that's why I have the green colors and the teal, because it's all about grounding. And once we can ground ourselves, we can be in a better place for everything and move forward.
Fantastic. Now, how can people follow you, David?
They can follow me on social media, David Chametzky. Luckily, that's a name that's a unique name. That's a real name. They could also On the Path. So On the Path NY is my company, and you can follow me. My website is davidchametzky.com. I try to make things as easy as possible. The biggest challenge is finding me on my podcast. Is Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat. So there's no name in there. You just have to remember the guy with the bat, and you always want to bring peace and love, because it's the things that we do, the spiritual pieces of it, the motivational pieces. But if we don't take those actions, that's really where the challenges go. Take the actions, find your sweet spot, and that's really what I talk about.
Fantastic. Well, it's been wonderful having you as a guest here at The Best You. And we started talking at the very beginning, and here we are, my only day I'm here, and I'm glad we got to make this happen.
Yeah, that's why I searched you out before everybody's packing up. We need to make sure that we saw each other and said hello. We've been, again, social media friends for a while, and now live people. That was awesome.
Well, here, you'll see it on Chow Entertainment, Living Your Best Life, every Tuesday at 11 back in New York. You can go ahead and see it on the day here. And these are two very special people to me. Ken Ashby used to be a neighbor of mine and inspired me greatly in my adventures and up with people. And this is his wife, Maris. And I just met you. It's wonderful to meet you. I've heard great things about you. And I was telling him I read about you in a book that you guys had written. And I tried to connect with you then, but I just couldn't make the connection. And then I saw you had your book, and I'm really proud of this book here. It's called The R Factor, Ken Ashby and Maris Segal. So tell me how this book came, and then we'll go backwards in life.
Then we'll go backwards. Okay, we'll go backwards. So I'll start this time, I think, maybe. But so a couple things. One is R Factor is relationships are a factor impacting and influencing every aspect of our lives, right? And so, for the longest time, it was interesting. People used to always ask Ken and I, so how does that work? You guys work together 24/7, and you're married, you have this magical thing going on, and how do you do all that without killing each other and still have a personal life? And for the longest time, we didn't analyze it, in truth, because I was afraid we'd break it.
Right. Don't look at it too closer.
It works, And so in working with our hundreds of clients and celebs and heads of state and families and all kinds of people over the years, we started to recognize that we have this rhythm between us that works. When it's in sync, it's powerful. It flows, it's beautiful. Is that actually the case with other people? And so in our work with hundreds of these folks over the years, we started to recognize that, in fact, these 4 key universal rhythms that were working for us were, in fact, universal rhythms that worked for people who were building prosperous and thriving lives. Respect, responsibility, reframing, and resilience.
Wow.
So at the core
I'll say that again. Respect, responsibility, reframing, and resilience.
I said it real fast. But yeah, that was at the core of really what brought us to this point. And we had been doing business consulting for years and stepped into the business leadership and kind of the coaching space only in the last number of years, because we'd already kind of been doing it.
Right.
And so that was sort of the impetus for this. And what we thought was, wow, what would it look like if we all actually recognized that we are all connected as humans first? And that's where the bottom line begins. And if we could get this into the hands and that message into corporate, into small business, into individuals, and they could really operate from that place. And so that was sort of the impetus of kind of how we drove in this direction.
Fantastic. So kind of finishing up on the end of the day here at The Best You, can you give a kind of recap of what your expectations were, what you feel walking out of the first day has been like for the two of you?
Well, it's been beautiful. It's been fantastic. I mean, the interesting thing is here at The Best You is we're all talking about similar things, coming at it from different directions maybe, but all talking about simple things. And it really, in most cases, it all boils down to relationships. What's your relationship with time? What's your relationship with money? What's your relationship with loss, what's your relationship with divorce, all of those kind of things. But the mood and the energy is all similar. And that's really amazing sort of awareness or noticing that we get to today. And resilience.
I said a little fast. But yeah, that was at the core of really what brought us to this point. And we had been doing business consulting for years and stepped into the business leadership and kind of the coaching space only in the last number of years because we'd already kind of been doing it really.
Right.
And so that was sort of the impetus for this. And what we thought was, wow, what would it look like if we all actually recognized that we are all connected as humans first? And that's where the bottom line begins. And if we could get this into the hands and that message into corporate, into small business, into individuals, and they could really operate from that place. And so that was sort of the impetus of kind of how we drove in this direction.
Fantastic. So, kind of finishing up on the end of the day here at TheBestYou, can you give a kind of recap of what your expectations were, what you feel walking out of the first day has been like for the two of you?
Well, it's been beautiful. It's been fantastic. I mean, the interesting thing is here at TheBestYou is we're all talking about similar things, coming at it from different directions maybe, but all talking about simple things. And it really, in most cases, it all boils down to relationships. What's your relationship with time? What's your relationship with money? What's your relationship with loss? What's your relationship with divorce? All of those kind of things. But the mood and the energy is all similar. And that's really amazing sort of awareness or noticing that we get to today.
Any other comments?
Well, I loved the brain tap experience that I just did with the headphones and the eyeglasses. Amazing, freeing spirit.
Here's the last and final question. I know that we all came from a group of singing and so on and so forth, and I was hoping you might just sing a tune or something to just send us off.
I'm so glad to be walking on Gratitude Street. Glad to be walking on Gratitude Street. Glad to be walking on Gratitude Street.
Nurse Access Staffing is seeking experienced RN and LVNs. For more information, call us at 818-697-4484 or check us out on our website, nurseaccessstaffing.com.